Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin's still playing out the short-term bounce, we're getting extremely close and starting to struggle from just about this important area of resistance right here, which we need to pay attention to in the immediate short term, as we're still seeing liquidity building below the price of Bitcoin in this Bitcoin liquidation heat map. And this is happening while we're continuing to see a rise in the Bitcoin dominance, which is not good news for the altcoin market, as we're starting to now see Ethereum struggle a little bit in the short term, and the price of Solana continue this rejection from this exact resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and I'll keep this video quick because not a lot has changed over the last one day. So of course, the super trend indicator still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, still having a massive bearish divergence, technically still active. Not a lot has changed on this chart over the last one day, which means overall expect a larger cool off, lacking bullish momentum, showing weakness at least over the next few weeks or possibly months, showing weakness for the price of Bitcoin. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, right now the price of Bitcoin still currently retesting this line on the chart, which previously has been significant support, and at least for now is currently acting as a bit of short-term resistance, and that's currently sitting at just under 111,000, so around 110.8k to 111k. Expect resistance around there based on this line right here. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term here on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, at least for now the price of Bitcoin is still to some degree range bound in a sideways price range, bouncing between support and resistance. So first of all, we have a lot of support right here at around 106.5k to 107,000, and also a little bit more support at roughly 105.5k. And as for resistance, expect a lot of resistance in between roughly 111,500 to 112,000, and more resistance in between 115.5k to 116,000. And ideally, of course, we'd like to see the price of Bitcoin continue a move above 112,000 to ultimately retest the higher end of the range to basically continue to play out this choppy sideways price range. But if the price does not soon break out above 112,000, and instead if we continue a little bit more of a rejection here, especially if we come back down towards this area of support, considering the bounce that we've already just played out over the last few days or so, we are at risk of possibly forming a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish price pattern for the price of Bitcoin. But I want to make it clear that possible head and shoulders is not even formed, let alone actually confirmed. In order to ultimately confirm that possible head and shoulders pattern, we need to continue a rejection, continue a pullback like this in the price of Bitcoin over the coming hours or days, and then we'll need to confirm with candle closes below around 106.5k, confirm a break below 106.5k and actually stay below that area in order to ultimately confirm the break to the downside and confirm the head and shoulders pattern, a bearish price pattern. And so if we see that, once again, it's not currently happened, which means the pattern's not confirmed or even completed the formation phase. But if that ultimately plays out, then in that case, that will confirm a bearish price target to the downside for the price of Bitcoin, which could also possibly open up a trading opportunity. Of course, I'll talk about my trading strategy in just a moment, but potentially as a hedge or as a way to make a bit of profits along the way towards the downside, that could open up a short position opportunity to short the move towards the downside towards a bearish price target. But once again, I want to make it clear right now, I'm not currently shorting. I'm of course waiting for confirmation. If we break below that area, then that would open up a potential opportunity to take advantage of a little bit more of a short-term drop, which would also align with this weekly Bitcoin price chart, still playing out this larger bearish divergence, likely lasting at least a number of weeks. And so those are still the key levels to watch out for the price of Bitcoin, and a possible price pattern to watch out for, not yet confirmed, but overall, at least for now, still in a bit of a sideways price range. Not a lot has changed over the last one day. And in terms of my trading strategy, it's not changed at all over the last one day. You can see right here for yourself, I'm still currently in this grid bot trading strategy, this automated trading trading strategy. And in case you're new to the channel and this is the first video of mine that you've watched, basically this trading strategy automatically buys Bitcoin as we go lower, automatically sells Bitcoin as we go higher. So it buys low, sells high. Obviously, there's a little bit more complication to it, but I've explained it more in recent videos here on the channel. So for the subscribers out there that regularly watch my videos, I won't be repeating that in this video. But if you're new to the channel, check out my last few videos if you want to know more about this trading strategy. But you can see for yourself right here that it's still making some easy profits in this Bitcoin market while the price just bounces around sideways. Obviously, everyone else out there is getting very bored right now with Bitcoin, because if you're simply just holding Bitcoin, it does make sense. It's very boring if you're just holding Bitcoin in a spot wallet in cold storage, for example, or spot Bitcoin on an exchange. Right now, it's basically doing nothing. It's just going sideways. But if you have one of these grid trading bots, while we're seeing that choppy sideways price action, it's automatically taking advantage of the opportunities here, taking advantage of the volatility, buying Bitcoin on any little dip right here, and selling Bitcoin on all of the pumps to actually profit during the range. And if you want to copy this exact trading strategy that I'm currently using myself and is so far working, as you can see right here, of course, I'll leave a link below the video. In fact, the second link below this video will take you to this page right here where you can copy this trading strategy if you want to. You can see on the page as well, it's been running for now about 16 days, well over 2 weeks, making some easy profits. All of the information on this page right here. And to copy the trading strategy, you simply just click a single button right here, copy the bot, and you can go ahead and copy the trading strategy if you want to. As always, no financial advice, no guarantees. I'm just sharing what I'm currently doing with my own money, which so far has been working. But of course, in order to copy this trading strategy, if you want to, it is set up over on my Pinex account, as you can see right here, which means you have to have a Pinex account in order to copy the trading strategy. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Pinex. In fact, the first link below this video will take you to this page right here, where you can also take advantage of other bonuses over on Pinex that are only available using that link. Like, for example, if you just make an account, complete KYC, you get a 50 USDT bonus. If you also do deposits, you have a $100 deposit bonus for just depositing $100, or if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 deposit bonus. So obviously major bonuses here simply just by making deposits or completing KYC using that link below the video. But once again, these bonuses are only available if you're using the link below the video to make your Pinex account. And in order to copy this trading strategy, this is also only available, unfortunately, if you're using that link below the video to actually make your Pinex account. If you don't use that link, unfortunately, this copy button simply will not work. But that's just an update on my trading strategy. Not a lot has changed over the last 1 day, still making some easy profits. And if we're taking a real quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see that right now we have a small amount of liquidity building at roughly 111.7k, a small amount building at around 113.7k, 113.8k, and a decent amount building at around 116,500. But most of the liquidity, the main level that we still need to pay attention to, is actually below the price at just above 106,000, around 106.1k to 106.2k. And so once again, there's no such thing as a 100% guarantee, but oftentimes the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where we have a lot of liquidity. So this does have me worried a little bit in the short term for Bitcoin, because if this potentially draws the price of Bitcoin towards this lower liquidity to wipe out that level at roughly 106,000, of course, that has the potential to complete the head and shoulders pattern, the formation for the head and shoulders pattern, as you can see right here. And so once again, there's no guarantees, but if we continue a bit more of a pullback towards that lower liquidity, then a lot of reliance, a lot of focus will be on this area of support right here for the price of Bitcoin. So definitely pay attention to that area in the coming hours and days if we start moving closer towards that area, because as I said earlier, if we break below that area at roughly 106,000, that could ultimately confirm a new bearish price target, sending the price much lower. But remember, if you're new to all of this, it doesn't matter what direction the price goes, we can profit from all of this price action. A lot of beginners make the mistake of thinking you can only make a lot of profits in crypto if the market is pumping or in a major bull market, but that is not true at all. We can profit no matter what the price does. For example, what I'm doing right now in this sideways price range, while everyone else out there is bored with crypto, I'm continuing to make easy profits in this sideways price range using a grid bot trading strategy. And then of course, if we have a different circumstance where, let's just say, if we confirm a bearish price target, confirming this head and shoulders pattern, and we see a drop towards the downside, while the drop is playing out, we could potentially short Bitcoin, not financial advice, but if we're in a short position while the price is dumping, of course, we're making money along the way towards the downside. And so if that ultimately confirms a bearish price target, which I will talk more about in the coming days if we move closer towards that area right there, if that ultimately happens, personally, I will be most likely taking a short position over on my 2bit account. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below the video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, the third link below the video, take you to this page right here, where you'll also claim some massive bonuses. You might as well take advantage of this if you're going to be set up, ready to go to get ready for the next trading opportunity. Either way, if you're going to be trading crypto either way, you might as well take advantage of these bonuses. For example, just by depositing and trading crypto, you can get up to 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses and 8,000 USDT in actual withdrawable stable coins just by depositing and trading crypto. And without even making any deposits or any trades, you can get a free $30 sign up bonus and 1 month free VIP3 upgrade. So very cheap trading fees and essentially free money from the exchange just by simply making an account. It takes 30 seconds to do this using that third link below the video to 2bit. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, and right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing this slight bullish relief, exactly as I've been predicting since basically all the way back down here. Every day since back down here, I've been saying expect a slight bullish relief, and for the most part, besides that crazy spike right here, we have been seeing just a slight bullish relief. So this is what I continue to predict moving forward for the Bitcoin dominance, which is not really great news for the altcoin market. Obviously, an altcoin season is something like this, where we see a massive drop off in the Bitcoin dominance. During those periods in the market, we see a lot of altcoins outperform Bitcoin, do quite well in the market, whereas right now, a lot of the altcoin markets on average, obviously there can be some outliers when it comes to altcoins, but a lot of the major altcoins on average are likely going to be either performing similar to whatever Bitcoin is doing, or potentially underperforming Bitcoin, doing a little bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing, while we're still playing out this bullish relief, which we're likely going to continue to play out in the Bitcoin dominance at least over the coming days or weeks. And if we're taking a quick look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, technically, at least to some degree, we're still being influenced by this bullish divergence. We haven't really confirmed a strong invalidation signal to properly invalidate the bullish divergence, which means it's possible we could continue to chop around sideways a little longer, but overall, don't really expect a lot of strength or massive bullish momentum right now. Still just basically a bit of a break from all of the bearish price action. And technically, in terms of the price structure on the daily time frame, we are basically already within a bearish trend, as we can see, forming lower highs and lower lows, trending towards the downside. But in the shorter term, ever since the bullish divergence confirmed, taking a break from the trend, basically chopping around relatively sideways in the shorter term. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour Ethereum price chart, we can see that in the immediate short term, with Bitcoin starting to struggle a little bit, of course, as I always say, expect something similar for a lot of the altcoin market, like Ethereum starting to also struggle alongside Bitcoin. And so overall, it's quite likely that over the next one day, if of course Bitcoin continues a little bit more of a struggle here, it's quite likely that Ethereum will also continue a slight little struggle. Not necessarily a massive crash over the next day, but just expect the price to somewhat struggle. So lack bullish momentum, show a bit of weakness, possibly even move closer towards this support to come in for a possible another retest in the coming hours or days. And this support I'm talking about is sitting in between around 37.20 to 37.60. And as for resistance to watch out for, expect some resistance at roughly 39.50. A lot of resistance in between around 40.60 to 4.1k, and also a lot of resistance in between around 42.50 to 42.80. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, right now Solana's continuing the perfect rejection from this area of resistance, still sitting in between around 190 to 200. So continue to expect a lot of resistance in that area. And as for support, if we continue this rejection here, expect a lot of support support in between roughly 170 to 175 as an area of support. And if we're taking a look at the slightly shorter term here on the 8-hour time frame, we can see that right now, obviously, we're still showing a lot of weakness, clearly lacking bullish momentum. But at least for now, we've not yet fully confirmed the exit of this sideways price range, the break to the downside below these previous lows right here. So at least for now, that is still an area of support to watch out for, where we have seen many bounces from just recently over the last few weeks, over the last 1 month or so. And that area of support I'm talking about is sitting in between roughly 177 to 179, likely acting as strong support considering all of these previous bounces here. But if the price of Solana starts confirming, especially candle closes below roughly 177, starts breaking below all of these previous lows right here, in that situation, of course, there'll be a massive bearish signal in the shorter term. That would be ultimately the continuation of this bearish price structure, and obviously pointing towards a continued drop, at least down towards 170, but quite possibly towards some of these lower levels, like for example, around 158, possibly even around 146 as a major level of support, all the way down there if we start breaking below some of these previous lows here in the short term. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, we're still playing out this massive bearish divergence, so not a lot has changed over the last 1 day on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, we can see that at least for now, the price of XRP is also still to some degree range bound between support and resistance, bouncing around between support and resistance in a bit of a shorter term sideways price range. And right now, this support is still sitting in between around $2.30 to $2.40, and this resistance is sitting in between around $2.60 to $2.70. So expect rejections from resistance, bounces from support, but bouncing around in a bit of a short-term sideways price range for the time being. But if we're looking at the bigger picture, we are still within a larger bearish trend, forming larger bearish price structure, at least for now. So that's the short-term situation and the larger situation for the price of XRP. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink, it's very similar for Chainlink as what I just said for XRP, still within a larger bearish trend, clearly forming bearish price structure like lower highs and lower lows, for example. But just in the shorter term, over the last couple of weeks or so, we have been seeing relatively neutral price action, just a bit of a break from the bearish trend, forming some choppy sideways price action. But right now, we are getting close towards possibly resuming the larger bearish trend with another leg towards the downside. And so when it comes to support and resistance to watch out for, first of all, we are just now and over the last couple of days struggling at this exact resistance here, sitting at around 1740 to 1750. And we also have a lot of resistance really in between around $19 to $20 as well, if the price can actually get back up there. And as for support, expect some support at roughly around 1650 to 1660, and below that expect a lot more support in between around 1520 to 1570. And remember what I said earlier in the video about the Bitcoin dominance. If this continues the bullish relief, which will likely be the case over the coming days or weeks, then expect similar price action for altcoins as to what Bitcoin is doing, but most likely a little bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing, considering the bullish relief in the Bitcoin dominance tells us that Bitcoin is gaining market share. So altcoins are losing market share, and how they do that is underperform Bitcoin on average. So basically expect a lot of these altcoins like Chainlink to basically do a little bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing. But remember, it does not matter the direction the price is going. We can profit in both directions using long positions and short positions. And once again, if you want to take any trades like that, check out the links below the video to these exchanges if you want to claim these massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade these sort of moves right here in the price of Bitcoin or any crypto to profit no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.